Okay, so I'm starting another one today, and I don't know much about it. Okay, so I've had it for a while, and I got it, and I was like, dude, this is pretty big, you know. And then I started flipping through it, and I noticed that all the F's or all the S's are F's in it. And so I just put it to the side. I was like, I can't do that because it's gonna take a lot of work, and I'll feel stupid reading it and everything else. And and then I was reading. I've been reading a lot of heretics lately. They're neat. They're interesting. You know, they died for what they believed in and stuff. I find it fascinating. And one of them is this guy Simon Magus. All right, supposedly like the biggest heretic ever, which I'll probably get more into him. I know it, but I don't think this has anything to do with Simon Magus. It may not. I haven't read it, so I'm going to read it. The last big, super girthy book I read was Secret Teachings of All Ages, and that was really good. But it also is really deep in some spots, you know, and it's just interesting when you come across information and while you're reading it on, reading it on the fly, and it hits you, because when I'm reading, man, I'm just reading. But sometimes I'm reading and the shit hits, and that's fun. It's great. It's scary. It's fun. I don't know how to explain it. Can't explain it to you. It's not for me to do. But this one, I think this one's going to be along those same lines. All right. Now is this is the Magus. Okay, this is not Simon Magus. I don't think. Okay, this is Francis Barrett. This is 1801 alchemical, um, the complete system of occult philosophy. All right. Like I said, I'm probably gonna have to slow down on it because the F's and the S's and there's different. It's just written a little differently. So for me to I just can't burn through it like I like to do. Okay. I like to burn through these books. It's like riding a little Shetland pony through the wilderness. This one I got to slow down. So once I start a book, I don't stop. I've got to finish it. It might take me a minute. I might get mad at it. I might get mad at the book and be like, I can't go on because, whatever. But I will get back to it. I don't know if I'm going to continue it here. I don't know if I'll continue it out at the property. Like I said, this stuff goes where it goes. It's fun. It's the fun of it, And this isn't a small book. This one's, I don't even know, dude. There's a couple books in it. Oh, God. All right. Yeah. So, I'm starting it today. Today is May 19th, 2025. Okay? Just for posterity. Give me a second. I don't even know which way I want to go with this. This is a blank screen. That screen might get new stuff involved with it, okay? Um, it probably will. There's pictures in here. There's other things. Um, it depends how long the readings go. Will definitely depend on what I put in there because if I get going and it's an hour and a half, I can't go back through and add. It's just I wouldn't finish it. I'm catching myself doing that now. So we'll just see how it goes. Okay. These are journeys. This is a journey. Some people will read that and be like, first off, I don't like that that's right there. I'm going to move that. You're going to do it. Yeah. You're just going to wait a second. Doesn't look right. And I don't know if I'll do, could I go any slower? And I don't know if I'll add subtitles. I don't know. No, I want to know where the F are. There. I don't like that either. I'll fiddle with that later. But yeah, so this is the start. I'm going to start the very beginning. I know nothing about Francis Bacon, or I know a little bit about Francis Bacon. I don't know much about Francis Barrett, other than what the little precursory Googling I did. I know this ties into so much that I've probably already read. Just remember, once a brain is stretched by a new idea, it's hard to go back to its original form. It doesn't go back to its original form. Some smart feller said that, and it's true. So be careful. But, another smart fella said, chew it up and spit out the bones. And, yeah, that's kind of what we do. So I guess I'm going to start. I'm so good at procrastinating, guys. I'm a master at it. Since I've been 8 years old, that's what they've always said. Little therapist said, Craig, you have so much potential. The one thing that's going to slow you down is your procrastination, because you are so good at it. And damn if he wasn't right. Anyways, the Magus, a complete system of occult philosophy. The Magus. I don't know where you can get this book. I just picked it up. Shit, I already fucking... Hold on. Let me show it to you so you can... Where is it? What is it? There it is. Put my ugly mug back up there. The Magus. All right, this is a book. Snagged it from Amazon. Good time to get it if this interests you. Great to follow along. I don't know anymore. I'm not going to talk. Hate talking. There. Okay. Oh, jeez. Already see Kabbalah in there. This is just going to get ugly. I can tell. No preconceived notions, though, because I haven't read the book. All right. Francis Barrett, student in chemistry, metaphysics, natural and occult philosophy, etc., etc. The Magus, or celestial intelligencer, being a complete system of occult philosophy in 3 books containing the ancient and the modern practice of the Kabbalistic art, natural and celestial magic, etc., shewing the wonderful effects that may be performed by a knowledge of the celestial influences, the occult properties of metals, herbs, and stones, and the application of active to passive principles exhibiting the sciences of natural magic, alchemy, and hermetic philosophy. Also, the nature, creation, and fall of man, his super and supernatural gifts, the magical power inherent in the soul, etc., with a great variety of rare experiments in natural magic, the constellatory practice and talismanic magic, the nature of the elements, stars, planets, signs, etc., construction and composition of all sorts of magic seals, images, rings, glasses, etc., the virtue and efficiency of numbers, characters, and figures of good and evil spirits, magnetism and Kabbalistical or ceremonial magic, in which the secret mysteries of the Kabbalah are explained, the operations of good and evil spirits, all kinds of Kabbalistic figures, tables, seals, and names, with their use, etc., the times, bonds, offices, and conjuration of spirits, which is added biography, antiquity, or the lives of the most eminent philosophers, magi, etc., the whole illustrated with a great variety of curious engravings, magical and Kabbalistical figures, etc., by Francis Barrett, FRC, professor of chemistry, natural and occult philosophy, Kabbalah, etc., etc. I just see the word Kabbalah, I just get really sour tasted. I don't know why. That's my own opinion. Okay? I don't know. It's the way... I don't know. But that's no reason not to know about it. You should know about things, right? So, preface. In this work, which we have written chiefly for the information of those who are curious and indefatigable in their inquiries into occult knowledge, we have, at our vast labor and expense, both of time and charges, collected whatsoever can be deemed curious and rare in regard to the subject of our speculations in natural magic, the Kabbalah, celestial and ceremonial magic, alchemy, and magnetism, and have divided it into 2 books, subdivided into parts, to which we have added a 3rd book containing a biographical account of the lives of those great men who were famous and renowned for their knowledge, showing upon whose authority this science of magic is founded and upon what principles, to which we have annexed a great variety of notes, wherein we have impartially examined the probability of the existence of magic, both of the good and bad species, in the earliest as well as in the latter ages of the world. We have exhibited a vast number of rare experiments in the course of this treatise, many of which, delivered in the beginning, are founded upon the simple application of active to passives. The others are of a higher speculation. In our history of the lives of philosophers, etc., we have omitted nothing that can be called interesting or satisfactory. We have taken our historical characters from those authors most deserving of credit. We have given out an outline of the various reports or traditions given to them, to which are annexed notes drawn from the most probable appearance of truth, impartially describing their characters and actions, leaning neither to the side of those who doubt everything, nor to them whose credulity takes in every report to be circumstantially true. Yeah. You got to remember, all the S's in this are F's. So, I'm probably going to make some mistakes. I want you to know that. Oh, Jesus, how long is this preface? At this time, the abstruse abstruse sciences of nature begin to be more investigated than for a century past, during which space they have almost totally neglected. But men becoming more enlightened, they begin to consider the extraordinary effects that were wrought by ancient philosophers in ages that were called dark. Many, therefore, have thought that name, nature, causes and effects, being the same with the additional improvements of mechanical and liberal arts, we may, with their knowledge of nature, surpass them in the producing of wonderful effects, for which cause many men are naturally impelled, without education or advantage, to dive into the contemplation of nature. But the study thereof being at first difficult, they have recourse to lay out a great deal of money in collecting various books, to remedy which inconvenience and expense the author undertook to complete the Magus, presuming that his labors herein will meet with the general approbation of either the novate or adept. For whole use and instruction, it is now published. But to return to the subject of our book, we have in the 5th part fully explained what natural magic is, and have shown that by the application of actives and passives, many wonderful effects are produced that are merely natural and done by manual operations. We have produced everything that was valuable and scarce respecting this department of our works, which we have introduced under the title Natural Magic, and a variety of our own experiments likewise. In the, what is this? Possession of the work, possession of this work, the laborious and diligent student will find a complete and delectable companion, so that he who has been searching for years for this author and other will in this book find the marrow of them all. But I would advise that we do not depend too much upon our own wisdom in the understanding of these mysteries, for all earthly wisdom is foolishness in the esteem of God. I mean, all the wisdom of man which pretends to draw from any other source than God alone. We come next to the 2nd part of the 5th book, of the 1st book, treating of the art called the constellatory practice of the talismanic magic, in which we fully demonstrate the power and efficiency of talismans, so much talked of and so little understood by most men. We therefore explain in the clearest and most intellectual manner how talismans may be made for the execution of various purposes, and by what means and from what sources they become and from what source they become vivified, and are visible instruments of great and wonderful effects. We likewise shew the proper and convenient times under the constellations and aspects of the planets they are to be formed, and these times when they are most powerful to act. And in the next place, we have taught that our own spirit is the vehicle of celestial attraction, transferring celestial and spiritual virtue into the seals, images, amulets, rings, papers, glasses, etc. Also, we have not forgot to give the most clear and rational illustration of symphony and antipathy, attraction and repulsion. We have likewise proved how cures are performed by virtue of sympathetic powers and medicines, by seals, rings, and amulets, even at unlimited distances, which we have been witnesses of and are daily confirmed in the true and certain belief of. We know how to communicate with any person and to give him intimation of purpose at 100 or 1,000 miles distance, but then a preparation of necessity, and the parties should have their appointed seasons and hours for that purpose. Likewise, both should be of the same firm constancy of mind, and a disciple or brother in art. And we have given methods whereby a man may receive true and certain intimation of future things by dreams or whatsoever his mind has before meditated upon, himself being properly disposed. Likewise, we have recited the various methods used by the ancients for the invocation of astral spirits by circles, crystals, etc., their forms of exorcism, incantations, orations, bonds, conjurations, and have given a general display of the instruments of their art, all of which we have collected out of the works of the most famous magicians, such as Zoroaster, Hermes, Apollonius, Simon of the Temple. I think that's Simon. Is that Simon Magus? I'm not sure. Trithemius, Agrippa, Porta, the Neapolitan, Day, Parcelsus, Paracelsus, Roger Bacon, and a great many others, to which we have subjoined our own notes, endeavoring to point out the differences of the arts, so as to free the name of magic from any scandalous imputation, seeing it as a world originally significative, not of any evil, but of every good and laudable science, such as a man might profit by and become both wise and happy, and to practice so far from being offensive to God or man, that the very root or ground of all magic takes its right from the Holy Scriptures. Viz., the fear of God is the beginning of all wisdom, and charity is the end, which fear of God is the beginning of magic, for magic is wisdom, and on this account those wise men were called magi. The magicians were the first Christians, for by their high and excellent knowledge they knew that the Savior which was promised was now born man, that Christ was the Redeemer, Advocate, and Mediator. They were the first to acknowledge his glory and majesty. Therefore, let no one be offended at the venerable and sacred title of magician, a title which every wise man merits while he pursues that path which Christ himself trod, viz., humility, charity, mercy, fasting, praying, fasting. It's F-A-F-T-I-N-G, and I don't know which is the F. Oh, fasting. I see. Praying, etc. For the true magician is the truest Christian and nearest disciple of our blessed Lord, who set the example we ought to follow. For he says, if ye have faith, etc., and this kind comes not by fasting and prayer, etc., ye shall tread upon scorpions, etc., and again, be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Such instructions as these are frequently named and given in many places of the Holy Scriptures. Likewise, all the apostles confess the powers of working miracles through faith in the name of Christ Jesus, and that all wisdom is to be attained through him. For he says, I am the light of the world. We have thought it advisable likewise to investigate the power of numbers, their symphony with the divine names of God, and seeing the whole universe was created by number, weight, and measure, there is no small efficiency of numbers, because nothing more clearly represents the divine essence to God, to human understanding than numbers, seeing that in all the divine holy names there is still a conformity of numbers, so that the conclusion of this our first book forms a complete system of mathematical magic, in which I have collected a vast number of curious seals from the famous magician Agrippa, and likewise from Paracelsus, noting them particularly as I have found them correspondent with true science on experiment. Whoa! Second book forms a complete treatise on the mysteries of the Kabbalah and ceremonial magic, by the study of which a man who can separate himself from material objects by the mortification of the sensual appetites, abstinence of drunkenness, gluttony, and other bestial passions, and whose lives pure and temperate, free from those actions which degenerate a man to a brute, may become a recipient of divine light and knowledge, by which they may foresee things to come, whether to private families or kingdoms or states, empires, battles, victories, etc., and likewise be capable of doing much good to their fellow creatures, such as the healing of all disorders and assisting with the comforts of life and unfortunate and distressed. We have spoken largely on prophetic dreams and visions in our Kabbalistic magic, and have given the tables of the Kabbalah fully set down for the information of the wise. Some few most secret things being reserved by the author for his pupils only, not to be taught by publication. Third book forms a complete magical biography, being collected from most ancient authors and some scarce and valuable manuscripts, and which has been the result of much labor in acquiring. Therefore, those who wish to benefit in these studies must shake off the drowsiness of worldly vanity, all idle levity, sloth, intemperance, and lust, so that they may be quiet, clean, pure, and free from every distraction and perturbation of mind, and worthily use the knowledge he obtains from his labors. Therefore, my good friend, whosoever thou art, that desirest to accomplish these things, but be persuaded first to apply thyself to the eternal wisdom, entreating him to grant thee understanding, then seeking knowledge with diligence, and thou shalt never repent thy having taken so laudable a resolution, but thou shalt enjoy a secret happiness and serenity of mind, which the world can never rob thee of. Wishing thee every success imaginable in the studies and experiments, hoping that thou wilt use the benefits that thou mayest receive to the honor of our Creator and for the profit of thy neighbor, in which exercise thou shalt ever experience the satisfaction of doing thy duty. Remember our instructions. To be silent, talk only with those worthy of the communication. Do not give pearls before swine. Be friendly to all, but not familiar with all, for many are, as the scriptures mention, wolves in sheep's clothing. Francis Barrett. Interesting, huh? I know, dude. It gives me the tingles. I don't know. These books, dude. Yeah, I'm going to do whatever I want. Maybe when I put this out, I'll cut this out. I don't know. But yeah, this is going to be a tough book for me. I need to get a marker. Hey, a marker. Give me a piece of paper. Yeah. Notice it's kind of heavy. It's gonna get into some heavy stuff. Some heavy shitola. All right. Yeah, I'll put his picture up there. I'll tinker with that a little bit, but I don't. The more I spend editing, the less time I spend reading, and I don't want to do that because I like reading and I like editing though a lot, and I want to be like, wow, dude, that'd be really cool to So it's just gonna work with me, dude. These are journeys. You guys know that. I don't have to tell you. Anyone who watches this, anyone who would be interested in what I just read and fumbled through that, you either get it or you don't, and you don't even need any more. You know that it's a book that's either worth checking out and like, wow, he's going to read a page or two a day of this. Yeah, I can follow that or not. And that's completely fine. I'm just in it, What do you call that? An imperfect vessel type deal. It's fun, man. Love learning. Wonder is back on the menu, boys. That's it. That's all it is. And with wonder comes, I don't know, whatever the fuck this is.